Hello everyone and welcome to the second phase of the Apollo 13 mission. The crew has just performed the ascent into low Earth orbit, and in this mission we are going to execute the insertion checklist.
Apollo 13 Houston, your preliminary orbit down here is 102.5 times 100.3 and everything is looking good.
Roger, Houston, and it looks good to be up here again.
I'll bet.
Okay, so we are currently in orbit around Earth, and we are on our way across the Atlantic, and the next radio station that we will reach after losing signal with VAN is CYI, which is the Canary Islands. And we are going to start with the checklists for insertion. I have a section here in the mission pad, a new one, which is basically going to be a more sequential checklist that they've used on board the command module and the lunar module during the mission. So the Apollo Operations Handbook checks are all valid and all usable, but this one will be a little bit more sequential. So the first checklist is item 1 to 4, which is the post-insertion checklist. And we're going to run through about 32 of these items or checklists, which all builds up towards the translunar injection burn.
Apollo 13 Houston, I have your Z torquing angle. You ready?
Jax, read me copy, Joe.
Okay, it's plus decimal 26, over.
Okay, Joe, plus 0.26.
That's Roger.
And the torquing angle is the estimate of an offset during ascent. And the plan is to use program 52 option 3 to eliminate that torquing difference. Let me get on the flashlight here, and we have the repressed package off. Okay, and then we are going to install the COAS. And the next couple of checks is in the hatch itself. I haven't modeled the functionality of those switches yet, so you can just skip this section. The final few part of item 1 to 4 is these. Okay, and the next checklist was the SM-RCS check. SM-RCS check, and that's item number 5. Okay, item 5, the SM-RCS check, complete the checklist. All right. Now we are going to do a very quick check of the quads of the service module. Those are the packages that you can see distributed along the exterior of the service module. We are going to look at the package temperature and record the helium pressure and the manifold pressure. So that's for all of those 4. Quite equal, all of them.
Apollo 13 Houston.
Go ahead, Houston.
Okay, a couple minutes to LOS, Jim. Everything is looking real good. Your AOS time at Kemppanen will be 52:36, and we don't have too much of a handle on why the inboard cut off early, except that it apparently was an engine problem and not a switch select function. But we're certain that you'll be able to make TLI based on what we're looking at now.
Roger, nothing like an interesting launch.
That's right.
Okay, so we are soon about to leave the Canary radio station, and the next which will get in range is at the coast of Australia, and that is scheduled to happen in about half an hour. So between now and then we are going to continue to do the insertion checklist. The mission sequence are going to help you and guide you through everything that you need to run through in terms of the items and the checklists.
Apollo 13 Houston, Canary LOS in 30 seconds. Request command reset, please.
Roger, command reset, come on.
Thank you.
That's to reset any commands that ground could have potentially set up to the AGC.
Apollo 13 Houston, request low bit rate, please, over.
Low bit rate.
Okay, let's continue with the items. The next one is the CM-RCS check, which is item number 6. And this is basically just to check the general status of the RCS, so the temperatures and pressure and manifold pressure of command module 1 and 2, that's ring 1 and 2. Okay, so we had ring number 1, which had the temperature of about 80, heating pressure is 4,100, and manifold pressure is about 100. Okay, and how's the cabin and suit doing? So that's basically readable on here, the pressure, suit and cabin, and they're seeing data that the suit and the cabin pressure is equal at around 5. And this means that they are now going to start to bag their PGAs. This is the big astronaut suits that they were wearing during ascent, and now they want to get more comfortable when they're in orbit. Then let's continue on with the caution and warning operational check. First, we're going to do the lamp test, so lamp test number 1, and we want to verify master alarm on the left-hand side and these lights. And then check number 2 is verifying these lights and the right-hand master alarm, and everything is looking good. And then we're going to quickly check the command module. We have 2 lights, and that completes the check. So then we're up to item number 8, and how we're doing timeline. The ascent that took a bit longer time might have caused a little bit offset in where they should have been on the checklists, and they're saying that they're a little bit behind, but that's the kind of stuff that we could catch up lickety split with. And again, some of these audio files I've yet to locate, so if you know where I could find them, please let me know, and I'll add them to the game. So next is going to be item number 13. And they're saying that some of these switches, they're moving harder than expected, and especially harder than in the simulator. They're saying that compared to simulator, these switches are so stiff. And now they also completed item 13, now that I went through those steps. But I think that one of the reasons these are a little bit harder is that they're brand new switches compared to the simulator. And what they're going to do now is to get Swigert or Jack down into the lower area of the cabin. So I'm going to toggle the seats now just to get that a little bit out of the way. They're talking about not having any problems with motion sickness so far. It was very common for the crew to have some motion sickness after ascent and getting it up into orbit. Alright, well gentlemen, I'll break out my 2 gold pens. The longest Neperian trajectory in the world. Yes, we had a long boost ride, didn't we? 12 minutes and 30 some seconds. And no wonder the crew were a little bit worried during that descent once something wrong happens to the Saturn V. But everything went well, and they reached an orbit well within the limits of the target. When I called inboard, it was natural. Then I looked at the time, and I said, that's not natural. We were 2 minutes early, 5 minutes and 32 seconds, if you want to write that down. But everything is good, even with that small issue with engine number 5 of the second stage. We're now in orbit. We are currently over Africa, still on the way to the next radio station, the acquisition of signal with ground. So with Swigert down in the lower equipment bay, we can continue to execute the main regulator check. Heise is going to check at some of the data while we do the checks down here. So first of all, main regulator B closed. Then we want to get this one to 1 and do the press to test. Okay, that's good. Then we can complete the checklist. Do the same for number 2. Let me get a flashlight here so you can see better. Then we'll finally set this to both, which is where it should be during the mission. And this is the emerging cabin pressure system that allows emergency pressurization of the cabin in case something happens. And Heise is saying that, man, I'll tell you, that first stage, when that shut down, I thought I was going through the instrument panel. I was so surprised, even I had heard about it. I should have warned you. This basically means that when the cutoff happened on the first stage, the G-forces are quite strong and pushing the crew towards those panels. Okay, and Heise is saying that he can feel a little bit of 0G effect, a little flushing in the face. And Jim is saying that your blood rushes to your head because your heart doesn't have anything to pump against. Okay, item number 12. That's the ECS post-insertion config. So let's start with item 12, the ECS config. I already get busy on getting the radiators on the line. Okay, glycol reservoir bypass valve to open. Then the out to close, the outlet to close, and the inlet to close. And this checklist will be done a little bit here and there as the crew goes through the post-insertion checks, so we'll get back to this one pretty soon. and the checklist guide will help you go through everything. So then we are going to go through the secondary radiator leak check, and this involves monitoring the secondary accumulator quantity here. We'll set this to norm for about 30 seconds. And we want to monitor that this one doesn't have any leaks. Use a little time scale there, 35, and we should be good to go. So another check that they want to do, and they're trying to catch up with the timeline, and they feel that they're on the timeline now, so they want to do the a purge. So let's get down to that. Okay, you might get some master alarms here, gang. I'm going to be doing a purge check. So let's complete the checklist and do the initial one. Press master alarm, and we should see the increased flow. In my sim right now, these flows are exceeding the limitations. I'll need to dive into the logic a little bit, because not all of these would throw a master alarm. Finally, the third one. And now let's do the O2 purge check. See an increase in O2. That happens to all of these. As we ignite the purging system, that increases the flow rate of H2 and O2 through the fuel cells. Okay, when did we insert, gang? 12 something? It was 12:32. And the reason is that Fred has been trying to figure out when he put the first line heater on. So it was roughly about 14 minutes. We've been at it for 20 minutes. And don't forget, I still got the radiators bypassed here. And this is part of the ECS checks. And now what we need to do is to make sure that we'll get this above 50. So that's up to 50% of the primary accumulated quantity. So let's fill that up. Primary accumulator fill, that's to on. It's coming on. Okay, that's good. Let me take a look. A minute here. I have to stabilize. I'll need about 5%. I don't need much. Okay, how's that? It's about at 50, so we'll close that. We'll go and set the rad control of the ECS to power, and the glycol radiators out, back to normal, push in. Okay. Okay, that completes item 12, the ECS post-insertion config steps, and those are part of this checklist. We had a brief look at it, but the crew has been going on it a little bit back and forth between everything, but now that one is done. Now we are going to get our program 52 stars, so Swagger can start looking at the stars. So let's go ahead with that. That's program 52, and everything we need to do right now is to just start it. And highs, we are going to do item number 24. That's the optics dust cover jet. So let's get down. Optics to on. 0, manual, speed to high. And now the real procedure in Reentry, all you need to do is to click this one and it will jettison the optics covers, but in the real one they would basically rotate this all the way or push them out as the optics rotates. Okay. So Swagger just saying that it's got a star. There's a couple of stars nearby, and the one in blue are the ones that are stored in the memory of the AJC, which can be used during program 52. So now we are going to run the aid checklist here. So we'll go to the handbook here, and there is a checklist which is called P52 aid refsmat that will guide you through everything that you need to do. So it will ask you to skip a couple of these steps, so let's go ahead and do that. We have already started P52. So now we are having noun 6. So verb 22, enter, plus 00003, and verify archery is set to 3. That's option 3. Enter, and then we're going to proceed. Okay, the first thing we have is 25. We'll set the optics to manual. It's already there. And then we're ready to proceed. We are going to now mark star number 4. Proceed. It's 2. It's 45. 6. Just getting a quick overview of where we are. And that's number 4, which is the one that we're looking for. And now we can open up the map here, and we can see the stars. And basically we are going to mark a couple of ones to align the P52 option 3 refsmat mode. And we saw 45, we saw 2, 6, and 4. So now we are going to mark number 4. Switch the speed to low, then I'll switch into the optics here, and then we'll do a mark. Okay, mark. And we mark number 4, so we don't need to modify this. We just proceed. And now I'm going to go to high, and I'm going to take the one that we saw down here. Let's watch number 2. Mark. That's number 2. And I didn't mark exactly, so I got an offset of, was it 0.01 degrees, which is well within the limits. And then we are going to torque. complete here. Leave it up for a little bit. Secondary loop is coming online. That little extra winding here, and it's the secondary loop. And I'm on page 214, and just want to very quickly jump into the checklist here, just to show you kind of where all these checklists are. And they're saying that page 214, which is the EPS monitor check. So just scroll down all through our ascent, which we've already done. Now we have the insertion and system checks. You can see item number 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the C torquing angle that they read up to us initially. We had the SMRCS check, CMRCS, operational, the main regulator check. So yeah, now we are looking for the page 214, the EPS monitoring check, which is item number 15. So EPS monitoring check, run. Now we're looking at the quantity, pressure, surge tank pressure. Surge tank pressure is now being read here. You can see O2 pressure indicator. You can switch if you want it to monitor tank 1 or the surge tank. Fuel cell power checks. So for 1, 2, and 3, I'll just open this one up here. You can see H2 flow, O2 flow, skin temperature, exhaust temperature. So let's go ahead and quickly monitor these using these instruments up here. Yeah, and everything is in the green bands, and the talkbacks are okay. T26 circuit breakers, FC reacts and rads, reacts, rads, reacts, out. Fuel cell main A, 1 and 2 gray, 3 is barb pole. Fuel cell MNB, talk gas 1 and 2 is barb pole, 3 is gray. We have the amps. Voltage on main bus A. Battery bus A. Higher battery A. We have voltage, M and B. System checks for B. Should be 3.4 to 4.1. That's the battery relay bus voltage. And AC volts is all good. Okay, that completes the PS check. Okay, item 15 is done, and that makes one outstanding item. And now I've got a couple from a few pages back. Okay, we got secondary, we made the secondary check that completes item number 21. Just to remind you, item 21 was the secondary glycol loop check. So complete program 52. Getting close.
Okay, Houston, how do you read 13? Houston, loud and clear. Okay, Joe, everything's going good. We're proceeding on the timeline in good fashion. I've got a P-52 done. I can give you the torquing angles. I'm ready for him, Jack. Okay, the star angle difference was all balls. Now 93 minus 067 minus all balls. Oh, well, that sounds plus .162. For a new CMP, it ain't too bad. Yeah. Okay, 13, we got nothing for you at the moment. Everything's looking good. We're looking at your data now.
So P52 was okay, and I need to write down that I need to increase the time between that one message that started to play on top of the other one. So we are currently here in the flight pan. We are in the middle of the insertion system checks. We did the P52 IMRI realign option 3 refs mat. Item 16, that's the ECS on-train check. To flow. Search tank. Let's verify that. Radiator temperature, primary in, primary out. Okay, next one, item 17. That's the SPS monitoring check. SPS propellant tank. So it's about soon 70, so let's keep it on a little bit more. That's the line heaters. Good. The nitrogen N2A, N2B. It's the same. Let's reset it back to helium.
Hello. Apollo 13 Houston, LOS Carnarvon in about 30 seconds. Honeysuckle on the hour, and verify your S-band is up for honeysuckle, over.
That's verified.
Roger.
And Houston, we're beginning to see a beautiful sunrise here.
Roger that, Jim.
See, the sun is slightly coming up here. There we have the sunrise.
Apollo 13 Houston through honeysuckle.
Roger, Houston, 13 here, breathing loud and clear.
Okay, S-band sounds good, Jim.
Okay, the crew didn't have too much time to look out the windows and enjoy the views. They had a lot to do on board the rocket.
Okay, 13 Houston, LOS honeysuckle in about 30 seconds, and we'll see you over the States at 1 plus 28 plus 43.
Okay, we're estimating to get out of signal about now, and we will regain signal once we reach the US at 1 hour and 28 minutes and 43 seconds into the mission. So that completes the insertion checks part of Apollo 13. We are now going to cross the Pacific, and in the next mission we are going to pick up where we left, complete some of the final insertion checks, and perform the TLI burn. So I'll see you then.